Check on our pinpoint weather and traffic together. The high tide cycles, Pete, and the flooding, that's the concern on the south shore of Massachusetts. Around here, it's really a tale of two storms, I guess we'll call it. Some parts of Rhode Island not seeing much. You go 20 miles north, you got a foot.
Yeah, just huge differences with snowfall totals, Patrick. And right now we are seeing snow filling in from the Providence metro area and especially up to the northeast and even into eastern Connecticut and Worcester County, Massachusetts. Look at the difference in these totals. West Bridgewater, Massachusetts, 12 inches of snow. Mansfield, 10 inches. Taunton, almost 9. And then we start to really knock those numbers down. North Cumberland, almost 4 inches so far. New Bedford, you're at 1. And Providence at 1 inch of snow. And we were kind of in a lull with the snow overnight. Now, still, between now and noon, some accumulating snow still possible. We'll see bands of light to moderate, occasionally heavy snow. The heaviest bands look like they will be out in Bristol County, Massachusetts, and even into northeastern Rhode Island in places like Cumberland. As we head into this afternoon, it'll change over to a mix and then start to taper off. Still windy, though. Could see some wind gusts up to around 45 miles at the coast. As we look at live pinpoint Doppler 12, we've been talking about that lull in the action, and what I mean is that notice how, in general, a lot of Rhode Island is kind of brighter, indicating the lighter snow, at least light to moderate. The darker blue is the heavier snow. You see we have the heavy snow to our east, or to our west, I should say, and the heavy snow to our east, but right in between overnight, we've kind of been in this pocket where not a whole lot of snow has really had a chance to stick. But right now, we are seeing a moderate band here along 195, Seekonk, Fall River, and even into portions of the Providence area. Some snow is starting to come down at a decent clip. Northwestern Rhode Island seeing some decent snowfall right now, and we'll talk about those accumulations in just a minute. In terms of wind advisories, we have one for the south coast that lasts throughout the day. Could see some gusts, again, 45 to 50. We saw a lull in those gusts overnight, and still not terribly bad right now, around 26 miles an hour in Newport, but I do expect as we heat up some of the atmosphere today that we'll pick up those gusts a little bit. Probably not major damage, but some isolated power outages are possible at the coast. A coastal flood warning, as Patrick was just talking about, this is for eastern Massachusetts only. Because of the wind direction, we get spared the flooding, but in places like Situate, Mass, just devastated flooding going on. Fortunately, across the Rhode Island south coast and the Massachusetts south coast, we avoided that. Visibility right now indicating some light to moderate snow falling. Providence, you're at 31, Block Island 32, and Newport at 30 degrees. And as we look at our satellite picture, you can see the snow machine will be going for the next several hours. The center of the storm is actually well offshore, but what happened is another piece of energy kind of got caught up in the outer edge of the storm, and that really enhanced some of our snowfall amounts in Connecticut, central Massachusetts, and Bristol County, Massachusetts. The wind, of course, will keep going today as the storm will stall and be close enough to keep those gusts cranking. Now, in terms of an hour-by-hour forecast, keep in mind the blue represents snow, and light to moderate snow, occasionally heavy for the rest of the morning commute. So while we're not going to end up with a tremendous amount of snow, the timing will be inconvenient. Again, the side roads could be snow-covered and slick. Right now, most of the main roads look okay. As we head into the late morning, early afternoon, it changes over to a mix and then just really starts to taper off. So even as the precipitation starts to die down, those winds will keep going. We look at our grand totals of what we're expecting, 2 to 4 inches for Providence, and a lot of us probably closer to this 2-inch mark. The snow has really had a tough time piling up overnight and even this morning. 3 to 6 inches northern Rhode Island, 6 to 12 Worcester County, Massachusetts, down into northern Bristol County, Mass, and even into portions of eastern Connecticut. 1 to 3 inches at the south coast. Temperatures kind of borderline freezing in that spot. The snow is wet. It will have a tougher time sticking there. 7-day Futurecast showing that it does improve as we head into the weekend. Saturday, how about 40 degrees, partly cloudy, and then some sunshine on Sunday with highs in the mid-40s. TJ Del Santo has been updating our online section all morning long. You can find more information there. And of course, you can also tune in. We'll be on until 9 o'clock in the morning, another 40 minutes here on WPRI, and then from 7 to 9, we are on Fox Providence. Now let's get you out to Jay Rogers with Jam.